All right. So, hello everyone. I'm Barb Larson Taylor, and I work at Gustavus Adolphus College, which is in St. Peter, Minnesota. And I'm joined by a coworker and friend, Glenn Cranking, who's professor of history and Scandinavian studies. And he is the director also of our May Day Peace Conference. And in my role working at Gustavus, I coordinate our institutional events. And this college where we work happens to be the alma mater of me, Glenn, and Carrie. And we are really thrilled that this year for our May Day Peace Conference, that Carrie and Maya will be joining us. And so, what we have spent our time with during our sessions is working with Carrie and Maya, trying to learn more about their work and what we could do during this time together for our community with them. So, just a little bit about the May Day Peace Conference. It was founded at Gustavus in 1981 by some local philanthropists and intentionally named May Day as the international distress signal and also as a call to action. And their initial vision for it was to inspire attendees to work for justice and peace throughout the world. And Maya and Carrie and Ceeds seems like a um, logical guest for us to come and be with our community for this year's conference. The history of the conference, you can see some of the past themes that we've had. It's really similar to as we think of like some of the initial work in those early days when we were learning about Seeds of Peace here and how peace is really it's stretching through all parts of people's lives and all parts of the globe, So some of the early conferences were about arms control, if you think of in the nuclear age of the 1980s, but then, lots of other topics, land use and climate and capital punishment and the role of student activism in leading social change. So it's really taken a lot of different shapes over the years. So this year, we are thrilled that Maya and Carrie will be with us in April, and the website is listed there. And we have formed a full day with them that we are labeling Growing Peacebuilders. And the day will, I forget the next slide, Glenn, is it the goals or is it our schedule? Yeah, the
The
goals, our
goals.
goals. Yeah, goals. The goals for the day, and as we envision the harvest for our participants. So we are a small liberal arts college of undergraduate students that are kind of traditionally aged of 18 to 22 years old, and trying to think of what could happen in a day, and I think a lot of times when we bring in a guest, it is people thinking they're listening passively. And so we really wanted people at the end of the day that were participating in some part of the day to feel empowered to work themselves for justice and peace, for people to leave with um, some tools that they could use to act. And not just to sit and listen, but to really think, okay, what can I do with this information? Um, we wanted to elevate the um, upstander principles that we have learned about here, and skill building, and really connecting to resiliency, hope, and their, especially as these undergrads, their future leadership out in the world. So the day will take on a morning extended, about an hour and a half of time for Carrie and Maya, planting the seeds of peace building, talking about, the work here that we've been learning about, but really also focusing in on a couple of seeds, knowing that we can't, as we've seen, we can't do everything that we've experienced over several sessions as a group here in an hour and a half. So we're like kind of narrowing in on just a couple of seeds. And then in the afternoon, some workshops and actually later in the day. So really thinking about both the gifts of Carrie and Maya, but also our community. And so one workshop about beginning peace building and education and youth development. We have a strong uh, teaching major, education major, and also a strong psychology department and child development. And so we thought that would be something that would really be aligned with interests of many of our students, and especially with Carrie's work. Another workshop on climate justice and peace building. As someone else mentioned earlier today, climate justice is really on top of mind for many of our students, and we wanted to link these two together and have really more actionable, some more actionable things that students could walk away from. And we know both Maya and Carrie have done a lot of work in this area. And then I think in our planning, we were all pretty excited about this last workshop. The activists staying steady in the storm is how, as young adults, then going out into the world, and they're maybe passionate to go and live and work for social justice. How do they stay resilient? How do they keep passion without getting burned out? How can they do this work over the course of a lifetime? And we're excited to. It's not something that I think as young leaders, they often don't think about it, and they do get burned out, and they already can start feeling it even in college. So I think trying to give them this opportunity to at least put a few tools in that toolbox for a lifetime of activism. So that's our day, Glenn. Please fill in other things that I've missed.
I can say that this is part of our spring semester. It's one of our signature events at the college. Our class schedule is modified, and so there are no classes that are held between that 10 and 11:30 time period. And then the 2 afternoon sessions, we've tried to time them to correspond with our class schedule, so that hopefully students can attend. We're also reaching out with a lot of our student leaders and trying to get them involved in some of this. We'll have a dinner between the afternoon session and the evening session, and specifically reach out to them so that hopefully they can connect with Carrie and Maya and really learn and soak up everything they can.
It's just been really fun to work with Carrie and Maya, and it's just been really, really an honor to be a part of this workshop series.